Let's move on to other stories. Following a JoyNews documentary on the illegalities on the sea by industrial fishing vessels, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development placed a ban on the activities of SAIKO, the transferring of fish from the industrial vessels to local fishermen at sea. The fishermen who went into SAIKO Business are protesting why the activity should be banned, but the ministry looks on for the same fish to be sent to Tema to be sold to the general public. They want the ministry to lift the ban and take time to assess the real causes of the dwindling fish stock. Richard Kwejenyako spent some time with them.
The SAIKO is the byproduct or the bycatch of the industrial vessels, which will be thrown into the sea. That's we collected it as they regard it waste, and we collect this for our livelihood and make a lot of people employment.
Justice Pra lives here in Elmina, one of the busiest fishing communities in Ghana. Justice has been involved in the SAIKO business for years.
So we appeal today those who throw it away, the vessel owners, then they start forcing it to us. And this have created a lot of employment, rather throwing it into the sea as waste or to pollute the sea.
As the chairman of the Ghana Bycatch Association, Mr. Pratt says the business of SAIKO has a lot of beneficiaries, and closing it down has made life unbearable, not just for the fishing communities, but has made fish very expensive for the general public.
And for as time as today, about 10 months now, in fact, people are suffering. Taking people, even the taxi drivers, the market people, and the banks and all over here. If government can just check in and look back for this our business, can simple make this BNI or whoever to come and investigate to know the number of people that this SAIKO bounding have taken them out of business.
It's not only fishermen like Justice Pra who's been badly bruised following the ban of the SAIKO business by the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development.
And the mom kitchen baby mukitamis come to nama. What's say? Nyawana nanaba, and the Mahabamuduku. Mahabamuduku, business. And some mamma sending him. Only a mobile. Namayan. Nafamayan. Afamayan, Nadagana. Why isn't
56-year-old Ifua Wantri has relied on this business for ages, and the current state of affairs worries her. She expressed shock that such a decision could be taken to knock them out of business.
Why are you fool? Why are you fool? And say a son and Akufadu. Ma, ya panitao, a man Ghana. Yes, son. Penny biaba, saying young pa. I found million home. Oh, say, I fee. And the bushman said, as Mamma Yana. As a babapon wobana. Fine. Now put a woman and say, when I wugum. Wugupunim. It's a salad, the man, I buy him. Saying just I can assume I'm far, Mayana. I got a for your bottle. Now, my to go to fun.
Beauty Deku has also been in the fishing business for more than 3 decades. She explains that even though the fishing business has had its ups and downs, the banning of SAIKO has made life unbearable for them.
But this year, last year, also, we did illegal fishing on Tungum farm and bar a Hanayansu. And hobium. Onam da minti scanner yakaji ninya, scanner a cow. Says a bank for a dying cow, baby, I be a down for near cocots, near a pacho. Inti sa abani yesra abani da onye minister nkasa na SAIKO no san fambra Lego fish no san fambra na yenye juma inti nkofo worker bank fo worker yen ba so ebinum kovasti na ade yenye ska inti school fees inti yesra penyufo de onkasa na Lego fish no san mbra ye wa Lego fish oji kokumasi asan ya fokala kokumasi ya ka fana da ba krom ha ya ba ho ninya atete.
So this is Salmina, one of the vibrant fishing communities in the country. Now, behind me are hundreds of canoes that have parked here. We are told that the canoes number up to about 600. But the place is becoming dormant and dormant because nothing seems to be happening here. Here used to be a very, very busy place. It is called the SAIKO market. But we've come here to see that it is virtually dead, non-existent, silent. Nothing seems to be happening because the business has been collapsed. The minister announced the collapse of the SAIKO business.
Following a JoyNews documentary that highlighted how small pelagic fish are caught by the industrial vessels and a big chunk of them thrown into the sea, the ministry banned the practice where these fishermen at Apam, Elmina, and some parts of the western region meet the vessels on the sea to get the fish that would have been thrown into the sea to sell to the general public. And this is what has come to be called SAIKO. This move, according to those who were in the SAIKO business, has had a negative effect on their businesses and their livelihood. They state that banning what they do and diverting the fish that would have come to them to the Tema port does not solve the issue. They believe the dumping, which actually destroys the sea, continues and their source of livelihood diverted elsewhere.
The first term of president, he was here, and after the close season, he made us start the work again. But we don't see the reason why now they are saying they've banned it. But what I'm asking the fisheries minister is that, has she ever questioned those people who are saying that the SAIKO fish is illegal? SAIKO is not the activity we are doing, the bringing down the fish itself. SAIKO is the fish itself. So if the trawlers are there fishing, taking about 10% of the fish to Tema, and those going for the fish are not working, then I don't see any reason you say that you have banned the SAIKO. Because the same fish that we bring from the vessels with this is our carriers, the same fish is being boxed to Tema at a very high cost, in which when we go and then bring the fish, it is very less for even for the school feeding, for the hospitals, their canteens and everything.
For Justice Pra, the ministry should have a real look at the ban.
Rather, buying imported carton fish, which is about 3 times double price than the waste product that we are buying, we are taking it here. What we normally hear is the SAIKO are being disturbed by the local fishermen. Most of us working here are the local fishermen included, but we can see that this is not the problem because SAIKO is not going, the local fishermen are not getting the fish. So what was the cause? Then they see there's something different as being dumping the fish. So if we are being taken as compared as human being, all the time expecting dead bodies around you, will you stay? You will never stay. So what I want to say, don't think the SAIKO is evil. SAIKO is a job which has helped a lot of people.
His colleague believes the ministry should listen to the fishers more than the NGOs. According to him, the NGOs are heavily sponsored by the European Union for their gains and the gains of the EU countries and not the fishermen here in Ghana.
Even take, for instance, a sardine. When you take a sardine 10, what is the size of a pelagic in a sardine? Yes, you have parceled it very nicely for us to buy. But when you come and see us, having those small pelagics, then you are complaining. What I would tell the government is the government should forget about this EU people or the NGOs getting into the fishing industry, because the NGOs are on the EU's payroll. They pay them for their selfish interest. And you see, they have their small NGOs here, the Henupano and the Friends of the Nation. Go and see them. The leaders of this, the NGOs in Ghana, they have hotels and everything. That means they are using the fishing industry to chop from somewhere.
It is an interesting phenomenon playing out here. The ministry collapses all the SAIKO markets along the coastal communities because of the catching of small pelagic fish to save the sea from further depletion. But the fishermen say the move has not stopped anything. It's just a move that aims at taking the job away from them and sending it elsewhere to Tema. Essentially, for them, nothing has been cured, and they want the ban on them lifted. Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Cape Coast.
Richard Kwejonya-Akon, our man who put together this report, has joined us via Zoom with more. Kwejo, first, let's look at why the ministry placed the ban on the SAIKO business. What has been the explanation?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you loud
so the
and clear.
explanation is that these industrial vessels go on the sea and they are supposed to harvest the fish with some approved net size, but they don't do that, and so they end up catching the small pelagic, the small fish. The small fish would have to also grow and become bigger fishes to serve all of us. And so when they catch them, a larger chunk of it are thrown back into the sea, further poisoning the sea. And that is why the ministry said that, well, if that is going to be the case, then let's ban the SAIKO activity. Okay. Now, what they do is that these fishermen from Apam, Elmina, and parts of the western region used to meet them halfway on the sea, so that the fish that would have been thrown back into the sea to poison the sea, they would get them and then also prepare them to feed the consuming public. But the ministry said that, well, enough is enough. We want to save the dwindling fish stock, and so that is why they have placed a ban on them. It's been close to 10 months the ban was placed on these activities. And so if you go to the SAIKO markets at Apam, Elmina, all of these people are jobless now, and there is nothing really happening. But what the fisher folk are saying is that once you have placed a ban on them, why are you landing the catch at the Tema port for essentially the same kind of fish that you are preventing them from selling? And so that has been the issue we are addressing here.
But why are they protesting the ban? Are they not aware of the dangers?
Well, they are aware. They say that, well, they have been in this business for quite a while. And the fact that the ministry is failing to put some checks on the industrial vessels, even though some of these observers have been placed there, the illegalities still go on. And so rather throwing the fish into the sea to poison it, they would want to make business out of it. And so it is out of business that they are speaking in these terms.
So how do they intend to actually push government to listen to their demand?
Well, so that is why they are appealing to government that, well, it's a business that has survived them. It is what they live on. And so government should look at the necessities of the time. Things are hard, the situations are hard. And if government will ban the industrial trawlers from harvesting these small fish, they are okay. But preventing them from doing business and then sending the business to Tema for other people to sell it is what they are against. And so they want government to come again, to have a real look at what is really causing the dwindling fish stock. And they believe that it is not the SAIKO business, the business that we're engaging in. It is not that is affecting the dwindling fish stock. And so they want government set up an investigative committee to look into the actual causes of why we are not really getting the fish these days.
Ako is our correspondent in the Central Region. Let's now speak with Justice Pra. He's with the association. He's with the Bycatch Association. He's also the 2014 National Best Fisherman. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Pra. First, let's look at the dangers with the SAIKO business.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Pra, you are live on JoyNews Desk.
Yeah. What we are talking about is concern the bycatch of the industrial vessel. And this bycatch of the industrial vessel, this thing has been there for about 40-something years. And it has become our livelihood. Whilst we collected it, and it's used to the community for so many years. And being thrown into the sea to pollute the sea, I thought it's better for human consumption in this country. As far as Demu, Northern region, as the entire villages around the whole country. While these fish have been already processed into naked for us to send it to with a blanket to even Borega. This has been helping a lot of people, about half of the population. So all of a sudden, the ministers have come out to that to bound it, and rather throwing into the sea, polluting our waters, for even the local fishermen are not catching. I thought it's something alarming. And for example, they say the SAIKO is disastrous to the fishing industry. So 10 months to 11 months, the SAIKO is not being operating. And the local fishermen are not getting fish. Then see that there's something different somewhere. There's something bigger somewhere. So what we are appealing to the president, we should look at it again. We are appealing very seriously. It has taken a lot. Already there's unemployment. And you are coming to bring about 15 million people out of job. SAIKO is not a million alone. It's not a palm alone. It's example like Tamaport being taking a lot of goods from the Tamaport to other villages. So that SAIKO product is helping a lot. And you're saying that the industrial vessels should bring them back out to the sea. Let me tell you, I'm a real fisherman. This industrial vessel bringing the SAIKO product is just a low cost. So they can fill their vessels with the low cost products. So they will throw it away and bring small, presenting as they bring the waste product. But 90% of it being thrown into the sea. And one thing they say, there's no fish in Ghana water. Our old system of fishing should be changed because those industrial vessels are using modern ways to fish. And for example, just recently, the sinking of that vessel is overcatch. So, government should come down, deal with the real fishermen, real fishermen folks, because about 90% of those who are making the bycatch are the real fishermen, and those depending on bycatch are Ghanaians.
Mr. Pra, what do you intend to do to push government to resolve this issue?
I can't hear what you're saying.
I'm saying that what do you intend to do to push government to hit your demands?
Okay, first, I can say that things are not straightforward to the minister because the previous government know the use of it. So they give a roadmap for this. So what I can say, the previous minister, actually, were about to listen to us. So she came with, argued with us to do it in a perfect way. Actually, time there's others and others, but things go on smoothly. So there's no noise. But what I can say now, the minister, if only she can understand us, so only to invite us, we explain what is good and what is not good. So we are appealing to the president to come down. As the other governments are not stopping it, the same thing this government have to do, because you are dealing with human life and a lot of people are dying.
I'm grateful for your time. Justice Pra is with the Bycatch Association, and he says government must listen to their plea and lift the ban on the SAIKO business. We'll take a break on Joy News Desk. When we return, there is more.